electronics from the most extreme wrestling, and this is your WWE Extreme Rules 2020 review. They dubbed this thing the horror show. It wasn't me who called it that, but we're going to find out tonight if this is indeed a horror show, because not only do they have an eye for an eye match, where the point of the match is you must extract somebody's eye out of their cranium, they're also going to have a swamp match as the main event. So things are going to get messy one way or another. We're going to begin tonight with the opening match here on this show, which I would call a pay-per-view, but that's old school. It's not a pay-per-view, I suppose, anymore. It's on the WWE Network, and they were also streaming this, the various matches on WWE's Facebook page, which is interesting. I guess they don't even care about getting subscribers anymore. They just want people to, by God, watch this thing. Please watch our show on Monday and on Wednesday, is the vibe that I'm getting from this. It's Big E and Kofi Kingston, the New Day. They are the SmackDown Tag Team Champions. The championships are on the line as they take on Cesaro and Shinsuke Nakamura in a tables match. Now, on the pre-show, the New Day went and got some advice from a table specialist in Devon, where basically he just said, you just got to put people through a table. But notably, Big E said in this, he had a quote that said that the wood needs to be inside you. And I don't know how he got that one past anybody, but that is a line that he in fact said. It's tornado season where I live, well, basically all the time. But in this match, it's tornado season because this is a tornado tag match, of course. But you don't have to put both people through a table. You only need one. Only need one here. And that will give you a new tag team champions if that indeed happens here. But will the tables be stacked? Will the stairs be stacked? Are they going to be stacked against the New Day here? Well, the stairs get unstacked here early on in the match. They get unloaded against Big E on the outside. So the brutality, it begins early. Big E, however, he does get a big spear on Cesaro, goes through them ropes onto the floor, which was just devastating. My goodness. I can't imagine getting speared by Big E, period. But on the floor, that is something I'm going to have to decline on that. Yeah. But Big E tries to spear both opponents later on through a table that's propped up on the outside. But the double destruction is avoided. And meanwhile, two tables are getting stacked on top of each other. So the deck is getting stacked. The tables are getting stacked. The stakes are getting so high here in this spot. And Kofi is getting loaded up for a big power bomb from the top, on top of the ropes over there inside of the ring, and gets powerbombed through two tables on the outside, and the cameraman could not help but shake this thing violently as Kofi's body, as the same, goes through the table in a just crumbling destruction of tables and body parts. And unfortunately, this is the end of the road for this tag team run here, as Cesaro and Shinsuke Nakamura become the new SmackDown Tag Team Champions. A new reign has begun here at Extreme Rules. This is a pretty exciting match. I liked it. But next up, we got Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss. They are getting hyped up with the Kabuki Warriors. And now they go into their match. This was backstage. They just walked into their entrance here. And it's Nikki Cross taking on Bayley. And Bayley is the SmackDown Women's Champion, so does Nikki Cross have a chance? Well, she really did go all out in her gear here, like her little jacket and her wrestling outfit. It was pretty on point, but is that going to be enough? Is it going to be enough? Because, you know, Bayley, you know, she's calling herself the role model these days, but her actions on the other hand are questionable at best. But here in this match, Bayley's not taking Nikki Cross that seriously in the beginning. And Bayley, when she starts getting into it and she starts really going for it, she tosses Nikki Cross into the plexiglass, which sounded just so hideous. My goodness. They're fighting inside of the ring, outside of the ring, and even at one point get entangled inside of the wrestling ring skirt over there. But Sasha Banks, she's on the outside, of course. She's got both tag team champions and the women's championship around her waist, so she's all decked out. That had to have been a workout, because that's quite a bit of weight you got on your body there. 3 championships. And the distraction, it works. Bayley, she is the winner here and still the champion. So no surprise in the outcome of this match here. Next up we have MVP. He's got his music playing as he's coming down with Bobby Lashley. And I thought, well, that's weird. Why not have Bobby Lashley's music? I'm not saying that Bobby Lashley's music is better, because obviously MVP's is better, but MVP's got his wrestling gear on. I thought he retired. Perhaps not. Lashley, he just doesn't get his own music here. And there's been this thing going on with the United States Championship where Apollo Crews is a champion. They got a new belt on Raw, but Apollo Crews isn't here for whatever reason, and MVP deems himself the new champion? Okay, but I thought he was the manager of Bobby Lashley, so why is Bobby Lashley not the champion? I don't know. MVP is the MVP show there on Raw, I suppose. So has Crews actually forfeited the title, or as MVP just gave himself the championship? It seems like he has, so I can just assume that Apollo Crews is going to have a issue with this coming in the future. Now we have the eye for an eye match. This is the one match that I really wanted to know what they were planning on doing, but wasn't too excited to actually see it take place, because no matter what they're going to do, it's got to be ridiculous, right? Well, we're going to find out. It's the eye for the eye, and they do a recap here. And I like how Rey Mysterio, he has a poster in the background of a WCW poster, which is fine. I mean, of course, he was in WCW. WWE owns WCW, so okay, I ain't got a problem with that. However, there is a TNT logo on there, which, yeah, WCW was on TNT, but, I mean, you could have blocked it out. You could have put a little action figure or a box or something in front of it. And it was just like this much on the screen. They could have covered it up, blurred it out. You know, it's not that big a deal. But the other wrestling program, it's on TNT. And TNT is a station that competes with USA Network and WWE. Why? How did that get by? So obviously somebody's not paying attention over here. But it is Rollins. He comes down to the ring with some channel locks, and he has gained some weight in these lockdowns. He's not as cut as he normally is. But I don't think anybody is these days, you know, hey man, you can't go to the gym like normal. I can understand why that could be the case. I did read an article that they said that the average American has gained about 16 pounds during all this, which is just unfortunate. Once they release us back onto society, we're all going to be a little bit larger. Unlike the WWE audience these days, they're all cut, they're all in shape, as if they're a bunch of wrestlers. But not main wrestlers. They're just they're just nameless, faceless people cheering and doing the same chants and the same like sound effects by beating on the plexiglass, which I'm still not a fan of, by the way. But it's what we got. And Rey Mysterio comes down, they begin this match. He goes and pulls out a toolbox, but what he pulls out of the toolbox is not a tool, it is some kind of bar, which I thought was odd. I mean, a tool can be anything. I mean, we once used rocks as tools, so I guess that's fine, but it's weird. I would have thought you would have instantly pulled out like maybe a pipe wrench or something, because the channel locks that what's his face? Freaking Seth Rollins, the Messiah, came down with. He had those channel locks, so he got those out of some kind of toolbox, right? I know I'm nitpicking, but it just seems weird. You pulled a non-tool out of a toolbox. But Rollins, he gets rid of those channel locks. He gets something more devastating, something that he could wield much easier. It is a kendo stick, and boy does it make such a louder sound. And the point of this thing is to poke somebody's eye out, to gouge their eye out, to extract it. So, you know, hey, you got your channel locks, you're going to try that. You're going to try to get a screwdriver, you're going to pry it out. So they're trying other methods, so that's commendable, I suppose. Rollins, he jams that kendo stick into a hole in the post, so he can presumably throw Rey Mysterio into that kendo stick to pop his eye out, which he tries but fails. And Rollins tries and rams Rey Mysterio's eye directly into the corner of steps, and it was making me cringe. It was making me get the jitters, and I don't like that. I would hate for that to happen to me. It sounds horrible, a horrible way to lose your vision and lose your eyesight, or possibly a body part, your eyeball. It seems important. It seems very important to me. I have both of mine. I'm just saying I would hate to lose one. It would be quite unfortunate. I like my binocular vision, is my point here. We saw this on Raw a few weeks ago where he tried to do his thing. I guess that's the whole reason why we're having an eye for an eye match. But Seth Rollins, he does this and it works. It actually works. Yes, it works. And yeah, his eye pops out. Rey Mysterio, there's like 1 second where you see some kind of eye in his hand, which obviously not his real eye. This is ridiculous. What is the point of this? Is Rey Mysterio going to stop wrestling? Are they going to do a whole thing where he can't do his moves? I don't even understand. I know that Rey Mysterio can't wrestle forever. If this is the way he's going to go out, it seems like a really strange way. But hey, whatever the dude's cool with, I can't fault him for that. But very bizarre. I guess they can say, oh, he's wearing, he can wear a contact. Oh, well, he can't see anymore. But yeah, there's no way they're going to just cover up his eye and be like, well, there's not an eyeball in there. However, we did find out later, and I want to cover this now, that when we got the medical update, he might lose some vision, but his eyeball is still going to be in his eye. So yes, the eyeball was distracted. It was outside of his head, but they were able to put it back in, like that Vader match in Japan. I was intrigued, I must say. This grabbed my attention. I felt like I had to watch this show here, Extreme Rules, because of this match. For better or for worse, they sucked me in, and Rey Mysterio was able to suck his eyeball back in. So hooray for sucking. All right. Bayley is interviewed. She is the champion still, of course, and it looks like she's sad. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is going to be too much if we're going to have wrestlers crying and, oh, this is my hero and now he can't see anymore, because that's just too much for me, man. It's too much. But that was not the case as she started making fun of him. You're not seeing double vision. I still got 2 belts because I'm Becky Dos Belts. So, hey. She got her shots in. It worked. It is Asuka. She is the Raw Women's Champion. She's got Kairi Sane on her side. And Sasha Banks. She is the opponent. And Bayley is now on Sasha Banks' side, of course. And this is for the Raw Women's Championship. So, will Sasha Banks and Bayley get all of them belts, essentially? We're going to find out here. Asuka is very serious going into this match, unlike the way Bayley began her match. And Sasha, she's going for the arms, she's going for submissions, because her bank statement, it is a very important thing in her arsenal, especially as a submission hold here. So that is what she's going for. Sasha Banks was able to get the frog splash and go into the crossface or bank statement. but Asuka gets to the ropes. And Asuka, she goes for a high back suplex. I mean, so high that I've never seen such a thing. They're on the top of the turnbuckles, but she's got Sasha Banks, her little backside is way up here, and she's gonna suplex her, but Sasha Banks, she does a flip, lands on her feet. It looked like she hurt herself. She tries to get up and do a move, but she totally botches it, just like the way my camera just went out of focus there. And Sasha plays this off very expertly by playing this off like she got hurt, like she hurt her knee. I believed it at first. It looked like she was very hurt here. However, Sasha, she then... What happens here? We got the referee. The referee gets misted by Asuka on accident here, and Bayley jumps in, grabs the referee's shirt. Not just grabs it, I mean, she disrobes this man, takes his shirt off, puts it on her, and of course they don't show the referee because, you know, the referees in WWE for the most part are a bunch of buff dudes, and which I would have done it anyways because I mean it's women's wrestling, so yeah, like what would be the problem here? It would be weird if you had two small guys and the referee is way more buff than the male participants, but you know, it would have been a pretty nice shot. They could have, you know, you could have screenshot that and been like, hey look, WWE referees are more buff than a lot of people who wrestle in AEW. I'm just saying, it's a meme lost, and that's sad. But Bayley, she does the 1, 2, 3 with the count, and do we have a new champion? It seems like it. If we're going to take the authority of Bayley here, so it looks like Sasha Banks, they leave with the championship, but I'm pretty sure on Raw, we're going to find out that is going to be null and void here. But for now, she's got the championship in her possession. Now it's time for the WWE Championship. The whole reason for this happening is Dolph Ziggler feels like it's his responsibility, or it's because of him that Drew McIntyre is the WWE Champion, so he wants a championship match here with Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre has accepted, but what is the stipulation? Well, Dolph isn't going to let us know until now. So they come down. What is the stipulation? Dolph says the stipulation is that it will be Extreme Rules, but only for Dolph Ziggler. If Drew McIntyre uses any weapons, gets disqualified, counted out, whatever, if he does anything shady or nefarious, Dolph Ziggler becomes the WWE Champion. So will he become champion? Even The Rock thinks that Dolph Ziggler should get that run. And my God, he's been in WWE for so long. He's done a lot of things, Money in the Bank. He's been a part of so many different memories over the years, cashing in, whatever the case may be. The man has seemingly done it all, but not become the WWE Champion as of in this instance. So, of course, Dolph Ziggler, he's kicking this man in the nether regions. He's using chairs to the back. He elbows Drew McIntyre off of the top of these turnbuckles through a table which Drew McIntyre was on, straight through his body, through this table, and Drew McIntyre almost gets counted out. I mean, they counted to 9. And Drew McIntyre somehow, at the very last millisecond, gets back in the ring, so he does not get counted out, so he, right now, still has the championship firm in his grasp. But Dolph Ziggler is trying everything. He's hitting famouser after famouser. It's a zigzag, it's a rock bottom on a chair, and no. Drew McIntyre kicks out. And as Dolph Ziggler is losing patience, losing time, losing energy, losing wind, he starts tuning up the band because he feels if he hits this sweet chin music, then that will be his ticket to become the WWE Champion. And as he tunes up the band, here comes Drew McIntyre. Somehow these moves have not kept him down, and he hits a Claymore kick, and Drew McIntyre is still the champion. So Basically, Dolph Ziggler tried everything he possibly could, and it was not enough to beat Drew McIntyre. That's a pretty good match. I loved the stipulation. It really put a lot of intrigue in there because everything is stacked against Drew McIntyre, but somehow Drew McIntyre still the champion. So this, to me, just builds up his credibility even more. Now, let's finish this thing off with a swamp fight main event. Was you looking forward to this match? I just felt like this was going to be a mess. I mean, we've already seen the Undertaker graveyard match at WrestleMania. You know, we've seen matches like that. We saw the Randy Orton match with Bray Wyatt in the past. So what are they going to do here that's going to be different? What's going to stand out about this? Let's find out. Bray, he's in a rocking chair at his place of residence out there in the swamp, and then here we have Braun Strowman showing up in his Ford, rolling up. So it's kind of a start somewhat similar to the Undertaker match with its own spin, and we have music playing and sound effects, video effects. So yes, much like other matches we have seen in the past. And okay, so Bray, he's using magic. I get it. They can turn out the lights and everything, but my goodness, you're outside. How do you have the power to turn off the lights outside? Maybe he could have turned off the power, but how do you turn off the truck lights for just a moment? Listen, you and myself, all of us, we are to expect that anything is possible here in the WWE when it comes to Bray Wyatt. And yeah, I think it's a little absurd when you're outside to expect the lights to be turned off. I mean, do you turn off the moonlight too? Do you turn off the stars as well? It's a little too much for this guy. And we did see a little bit cut back and forth with the Funhouse. Bray Wyatt, I mean, he's in different places. He's showing videos. He's reacting in previously recorded videos. Oh my goodness. But yes, they start fighting. This is supposed to be a swamp fight. Someone like Bray, he gets attacked. He gets attacked by himself. His old self comes back from the past to put him wrapped up in chains in a barn, and Bray is over him. Then a guy with a snake comes in, which is not Jake the Snake Roberts, because Jay's in AEW. I don't know who this man with the snake was, but then they appear. They're back in the outside in modern times, and some guy in black that's not the Dark Order, I don't know, some guy is attacking him. There is a loud campfire burning in the nearbys, and the man with the shovel dressed in black comes in and starts attacking, but Bray Wyatt's able to subdue this man, and the dude who was a couple of feet away from a campfire, but I guess he wasn't 6 feet away from the campfire, so he just burst into flames and then runs off. I don't even understand what the heck is supposed to be happening, but if you thought that was weird, which I did, it got even stranger as Alexa Bliss, as a ghost, starts being like, come be with me, you want to be with me and everything. And of course Bray Wyatt starts getting closer because, ghost or not, hard to turn down. And Bray, he choke slams Bray Wyatt onto a boat. So now there's some boat action. Bray's going through a swamp. There's lily pads abound. And Braun, he's going after Wyatt. They're I just don't even know. I don't even know. Look, Bray ends up going into the water and he disappears. So did he drown? It looks like Bray won because Bray's the only one on the screen and they show the end of show logo. which we all know that this was previously recorded. So if it's the end of show logo, then it has to be the end of the show, right? Because they edited it, and they would have put that, and that would be like one of the last things that you did when you're editing, right? But you know what? Forget logic, because we threw logic way out the door way early on in this thing, because we got time traveling, we got people, they can turn just all light out period in the sky and from the moon. We're able to do that on a cosmic level. We have superpowers, and on a paranormal level, you know, we're able to bring in ghosts of people who aren't even dead. Yes. So Bray Wyatt, he appears out of the water, out of these lily pads, and pulls Braun underwater. We see a bunch of bubbles. Things turn red, and we see a lot of bubbles, which I guess the swamp turned into some kind of boiling cauldron. What's cooking here? I have no idea. But at the very end, we hear laughing, and we see the Fiend's face, and that's the end. A very confused, what the heck kind of end to the show. But honestly, I don't know what anybody could have been expecting other than just complete chaos, mayhem, extreme rules. It's a horror show. They said it in the title. So there you go. And I will catch you guys next time.